The correct system is the Elihu Root system. Elihu Root, who had 3 different cabinet appointments, if I remember right, said no man was fit to hold public office who wasn't perfectly willing to leave it at any time. And if Elihu Root didn't approve of something the government asked him to do, he could always go back and be the most sought-after lawyer in the world. He had an identity to go back to, and he didn't need the government's salary. And I think that ought to be more the test in corporate directorships. Is a man really fit to make tough calls who isn't perfectly willing to leave the office at any time? My answer is no.
But as Charlie was talking, I can't think of a lot of difficult. I can think of a lot of wrong decisions I've made, but I certainly can't think of. I can't think of anything I agonized over making for any long period of time. Like I say, that isn't, I mean, it's calling balls and strikes. I mean, you got a second there, and if you don't do it, that you're no longer an umpire. So I've made plenty of wrong decisions. I'm going to make plenty more. That's just part of living. But I don't think in terms of being difficult as measured by the time it took me to do it, or not a lot of them pop to mind, and if they do, I'll probably give you the same answer as Charlie. Charlie, have you thought of any more there while we've been talking?
Let's go on to another.
It's not an economic castle anymore. I wouldn't call it that. What we do is no secret, and I think that the relative importance of America. I mean, we have been a dominant factor in the world in post-World War II, and I think it will decline somewhat, although I'm not an alarmist on that. But I think to some extent the rest of the world, or much of the rest of, or some of the rest of the world, is catching on and adopting sort of best practices, as they say in industry. And our castle will grow in size, but there will be more castles around it, and I basically think that's a very good thing for the world. I think the more prosperous generally the rest of the world is, the better generally it will be for us. It comes out of our hide at all. Charlie?
Well, I don't think it comes out of our hide in that sense, but if we're Well, I don't think it comes out of our hide in that sense, but if we are now the richest and most powerful nation in the world, and 50 or 100 years from now, we're now the richest and most powerful nation in the world, and 50 or 100 years from now, we're a poor third to some country in Asia. Sure, we're richer, but it's a peculiar type of richness where you've lost your relative position in the world. It's not all. I think if I had to bet, I would bet that the part of the world that does best is Asia in terms of percentage gains per annum. And I think it might do amazingly well if it doesn't blow up in some way. And if it does amazingly well, it will eventually be a much richer place than ours.